Welcome to another side episode of Boruto Chapter 22 review. And Kanshi Koji's prophecy always said, when Boruto fights Jiren, he will die. But didn't happen in this chapter. Definitely a great setup, definitely a great fight, definitely great maneuvers on the end of Boruto. Great stuff right there. And he really is using the Flying Raijin to its ability at its finest. But before we start, we got Raysean on the show as always, one of the great interviewers on on YouTube right now, killing it right now with his interviews. But tell the viewers out there where can they find your podcast.
Well, you guys can find me on all your podcasting platforms. You can find me on YouTube. I want to thank you for that. I wouldn't say I'm the best, but trying to be. But we got a lot of great interviews coming, and a lot of interviews that you guys probably should check out from Kiba Walker, from John Swayze. We got a lot of Blue Lock interviews, Shikamaru. So go ahead and check out my channel. It's probably pretty sure it's going to be links below.
Also hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 1,000. Help us get to the big 1,000 mark. So let's talk about the chapter. Definitely great stuff. I love the way it starts. When Jiren just popping up, and you're thinking, oh shit, it's Mitsuki, Sadara's down, Yoda's dead, Arya lost her sword. What's gonna happen? And I just love he pays him zero mind. But he does look at Sadara. He's looking like, damn, she's the one who took down Ryu. And he probably realized how strong her Mangekyo Sharingan as well too. And he's probably giving her due diligence, like, you know what? She is definitely strong. But mind you, at the same time, he's paying no mind to anybody on there. Just showcasing that they mean no threat to him. There's nothing they could do to him. And we cut back before, he goes out to Boruto. Boruto's talking to Kunohamaru. And he's telling him, Jiren's here. And he sniped him. He missed. And he is so pissed off, like, damn, I didn't hit him. And at that moment, Boruto's telling Kunohamaru, yo, get out of here. It's not safe. And you tell me, Raysean, if I'm overreacting. Why is Kunohamaru giving that look like, what? He hesitates. If Boruto's yelling at you, get your ass moving before he gets here. Why wouldn't he just go?
Well, that the way you asked that question was the way you ask it is kind of like, from his perspective, it's like, I don't even really know who you are, but you just beat this motherfucker like it was nothing. I get you, but like from your perspective, you just seen this big ass blast hit. This dude is panicking. He just beat this thing that you can't beat, and he telling you need to get the fuck out of here. I will give it to Konohamaru. Everything probably was happening so fast that he probably didn't see Jura coming. So he probably not necessarily knowing that like a big threat is coming. But I do feel like if you see a motherfucker running, run. You know what I mean? Stop asking questions.
If you see the snipe shot right next to you and it missed you by barely this much, and he yelled at you, "Get your ass moving, fucking go! Why aren't you moving?"
At the end of the day, I feel like he's still trying to get information he needs because he's still trying to figure out, okay, so do I take the seed? If I take the seed, if I take it back to Misery, will this bring her back to life? So it's like information he's trying to get from Boruto in that moment. But I do agree with you, like, hey, it's time to buck and hustle. A motherfucker telling you it's time to go, it's time to go.
Yes, we took down the Shinju, but the head honcho's coming right now after us. You gotta go.
And I mean, my chance is already zero. So I mean, don't make it any lower than what it need to be. Like Lord.
And then right now we see Jiren coming down and going out there. He's shooting out another snipe. And I love how he just picks up Konohamaru.
He shoots through his eyes too.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool.
That's pretty sick, man. He picks up Konohamaru, throws him, and he's like, yo, keep it moving. I got this. And I love how Boruto just comes right behind Jiren, just like his grandpa, just like his dad, hit him with a back shot, Rasengan. And I was like, ooh. That right there was so freaking badass. I love that moment right there. And then it doesn't stop right there. Jiren turns around and try to hit him with another Bijou bomb. And, dude, again, like I said at the beginning of the show, Boruto has really perfected the way to use the Flying Raijin. Because at the same time when Jiren's flying down, I think he hit him with the Rasengan, then turned around, hit him with the Bijou bomb, Boruto pops up behind him and trying to give the killing blow his sword. And at that moment, because they gave me vibes, I don't know if you guys remember the anime where Sasuke's trying to kill Jigen, and he's trying to go with the kill shot through his neck with the sword. Then he pops out the rods behind. Right there just gave me vibes of that right there. And like I said, Jiren stops the sword with his middle finger. And he gives him props. He's like, yo, the Flying Raijin, Fuck, my guy, that is really good. And it's a bad habit when I'm fighting a strong opponent like you. And it's making my heart fill up with so much joy. And Jaren right now, he's loving it. He's loving his battle right now between him and Boruto right now because he knows that he's very strong. But before we move on, what's your thoughts on between the Jaren and Boruto fight so far?
Oh, well, I mean, for him to get to the battlefield, go straight after Boruto, not really wasting any time, just start like just hitting him with all them Biju bombs and shit. I found it to be kind of like breathtaking. I like kind of seeing a motherfucker on a mission type of thing because to me, he is giving off the energy that that Kochi Kenji was trying to tell Boruto that he was gonna come with. Like if you go to that battlefield, your chances of making it are damn near zero. And the motherfucker is showing you that from the start. But I will say that I am kind of mad he missed that sniper shot because he had did it like a few, I mean, I don't know, days ago. Like maybe I don't know how much time it's been from when they attacked the leaf, and he hit the motherfucker point blank. It looked like it was more going on then, and he still hit him. So it's like I don't know if Boruto just got a little bit more smarter and was able to kind of like, okay, most likely if he long distance, he's probably gonna try to hit me with this bullshit. Let me try to move out of the way a little bit, but I'm with you. I do feel like Konohamaru should have been had left, but I think it's cool that Boruto throws him and he fucking falls on his legs and was like, all right, fuck it, it's time to go. So as soon as he actually got Jura and the Biju bomb explosion, he like, yeah, it's time to go. Want me to go get these kids. But it's one thing that I think we're forgetting that he tells Konohamaru is that he basically tells him to go over there to some kunai or something he had thrown earlier and meet there and wait there. He tells them to wait. So he does plan to somehow get through this and get them somewhere, which is interesting because what happens a little bit later when you learn that something that he can't do, so it takes away something. So it's like I wonder what his actual plan is for that because he does tell them like, "Hey, y'all need to stay there." He don't tell them like to keep going, which I find interesting. But I guess he like, well, even if the situation calls for it, it's still gonna have to be a fast transfer because I'm just holding this guy off. I'm not planning to win or nothing. Like,
So before we let you finish off the chapter, what's your thoughts on him not paying no mind to Mitsuki and everybody else?
well, I mean, he kind of tells you that a little bit when he basically is like, well, fighting you gives me more of a challenge. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he probably sees anybody else really as a challenge or anything, which he needs to take that and really think about that because those be the situations what causes you to lose because you're not paying attention to everybody and then somebody knows a jutsu that you're not thinking they know and stuff like that and Kakashi come out of nowhere and be a motherfucker to take you out. So that's why I do feel like he needs to pay attention more to that. But it's kind of weird with Jura because he's like studying the mortals and he's reading their books and he's pointing out their weaknesses and stuff like that. So it's interesting to me that he's like, I don't need to pay. But then he's probably to the point where we don't even know how strong Jura is. What we're seeing right now might not even be what he's truly capable of. So he's probably like, unless these motherfuckers can move a mountain, I don't even need to fuck with them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like no point. Like, y'all barely beat what's his name, and he did pay attention to Sadara for a little bit, but he probably like, yeah. I mean, that was just one jutsu. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not worried. All right, so basically, right after they're fighting and everything, you basically get Ada talking to Kashin Koji, and she's telling him how the fight's going. She's basically like, Boruto's holding his own. He's basically like, he can win this. And then Koshi Kiji is like, nah, just let this shit play out. And I bet you Boruto know this shit ain't gonna go the way he think it is because there's one main weakness that he has, and that's the fact that he can't teleport long range. He can only go short distances, and that's really you might not even think about that. Like when we seen that him doing the flying ranging until like right now, that's really important. Like to be able to go from long distances and stuff like that. And I like how they break it down, basically saying that it's just harder for him to sense chakra. from like long range. So I wonder why it was kind of like more easier for Minato to do that, but and kind of Naruto too. But they you can also probably argue they had Sage mode, so that might also help them out with that. But he basically explains that, and he also says something about like how the events played out, that it's going to be hard for him to like win this or get out of this like okay. So I wonder if things played out differently, if it would have been easier for him to win that. Maybe if Sadara didn't go down, it might have been easier for him to win that, because then it'll be two versus one. He didn't even think to add Konohamaru into the mix. He's just like, yeah, it's one versus one. I don't care if he healthy. One versus one. So there you go from them kind of talking about how the fight's gonna go to back to Jura and Boruto just looking each other in the face, getting ready for that next moment to fight, and they're basically just talking. And the first thing you kind of get from Jura is he's kind of telling him why he came after Boruto, and the main reason is because somehow this little motherfucker knows so much shit about us. And how do he know this? Who is helping you? And he's trying to get this information out of Boruto. Boruto, I like it, stone face, not giving him an inch. Yeah, I ain't giving you nothing.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that's what frustrates him the most. Like, how the fuck do you know so much about us?
And we just came here.
Yes.
He does make a point to say that, like, we just became alive, like type shit. How you know so much about us?
He knows that, okay, Boruto, he's strong, but I need to know how the hell you can, because this right here, it's bothering him so fucking much. Like, I know he can't sleep at night, or I don't know if they even sleep, but that right there is bothering him the most. Like, how the hell do you know so fucking much about us?
And they go basically right into that until he's like, okay, so you're not going to answer me? Okay, my next one. Can you explain to me what is love? And then he breaks down, based on all the stuff that I've been reading and all my research, I realize this is one of y'all biggest weakness. This is I can tell this is a weakness for you too, because the fact that you came here to save your friends, even knowing that you was putting your life in danger. So then you get Boruto kind of just like taking that in, trying to kind of figure out how he's going to win this fight. One thing I will say about Boruto, I do like that, because it seemed like he's been thinking this whole battle from the point where he's talking to Konohamaru, he throws out some kunai during their conversation, and then once Jura gets into the battle and they're fighting, the one of the kunai that you see him throw up and that even Konohamaru looks at, he actually teleports to that one and actually uses that to help attack Jura. So I find that to be very interesting. I loved seeing how smart he's been able to show us and everything. They get to a point into the fight where Boruto loses his sword and Jura is walking towards it, and he's basically telling him, hey, don't do nothing to my sword. That sword is something that was left to me from my master. And that's basically when Jura basically is playing on that love thing, because he's like, so basically, this, you got this from somebody you love. This is precious to you and everything. And I love this whole moment, because before this, they get into this little scramble. He makes a point to say that to do his finishing move, that he needs to be on the ground. But Jura's first attack made him jump up in the air, so he couldn't basically charge up the energy to do the attack. So when he's actually on the ground and he got some trap and he's about to pick up his sword to break it, he's actually charging up for the move. And that's when he gives us his answer to his question about love. And he basically what he says, you might be right about love being a flaw and a weakness for us humans, but this is my opinion. And he basically breaks through it. Breaks through it and basically is like, that's precisely why you will never be more than just a tree. So basically, I think he's basically trying to say that, like, not being able to take these emotions and be able to use them to your advantage and be able to actually be a person and feel, he's not, that's why you're always going to be a tree type of thing. And I like him giving him that type of answer. And the fact that he gives him this the moment is given like he just one shot at him. You know what I mean? Because he hits this big move. He's even talking shit after it. Oh, yeah, after I hit you with that, you can't stand straight. That take all your balance away. And you see Jura kind of stepping around like, oh shit, falls down on his knees, chuckle a little bit, like, oh shit. You know, your move kind of remind me of the Biju or Biju Damas. You know, that mean they ain't gonna do shit to me. Stands back up, look this motherfucker in the face. This the first time you really see it in Boruto. This the last panel. Like, shit, that didn't do nothing. Like, he's sweating. Like, this
Yeah.
motherfucker, like, he really like, oh, yeah, I might die. Like, it's a lot right there. But I feel like this chapter is great for the fact that Jura stays one of the main villains. He makes you think like right now that he's probably at least the top villain. I was thinking about this a little bit earlier, trying to figure out who's stronger between him and Ishiki. And it was a little bit hard for me to kind of like, because I was like, could the Boruto that's right now be Ishiki that was fucking up Naruto, that was fucking up Sasuke, fucking like killing everybody? Could he beat him one on one? And not honestly, that's a hard one. I would say I would think so because he doesn't have like the Biju Dama, and it seemed like the Biju Dama is like was really been fucking up Boruto. But his ability to shrink stuff is very interesting. But I mean, I will say I feel like Jura right now is the strongest person. But like you said earlier, if he's still on that mindset that he needs to start thinking only of the strong people, he might low key be taken out by somebody he not paying attention to. Because I've been trying to think about it from the perspective of Konohamaru. That's what I was thinking about it from the perspective of Konohamaru. Because we've been talking a lot of shit about him lately, saying that why isn't he doing anything? But then I was trying to think about if we switched him out with any other Jonin, which Jonin would be able to do anything in this situation? And it was hard. It took me a second to think. But then I started thinking, like, I was like, maybe Rock Lee. Rock Lee might be able to hold his own a little bit. I was like, if he has to do the eighth gate, though, that's like, damn. You know what I mean? Like, if he got to pull out the eighth gate, it's like we literally lost him. And that in that situation, I feel like Konohamaru was better because it's like at least he's still there. You know what I mean? Like, but I mean, because if Rock Lee opens up the eighth gate and lose or doesn't take out one of them, or at least he got to at least take out one of them. If he don't take out at least one of them, it's like, damn, you just went eighth gate for no reason. But then you got like Sakura and stuff like that. So you got a few people from Naruto's generation that might be able to do something, and maybe Kakashi, but it's not a lot of people that could do something in this situation.
No, I definitely gotta agree. But piggyback to my thoughts on toward ends of the chapter. I love how you said that Boruto came in here with a plan. He thought of every situation, and it kind of worked out in a way. But unfortunately, Jiren is just too damn strong. And there was one part of the chapter that kind of reminded me of Thanos from the Endgame when he said, "Oh, what did your failure bring you? Back to me." When Jiren said, "What did love bring you? It lured you to your death to me." That right there was a cold fucking line right there. It automatically thought about Thanos right away in the Endgame. I was like, man, that's a cold fucking line. And I was like, oh, that was definitely cool right there. And like I said before, Boruto knew that, okay, the Rasengan didn't work. Let me try my ultimate move. And he did get caught on purpose. Because as of right now, he was trying to dodge the wood style jutsu, and it wasn't getting nowhere because his feet has to be planted on the ground. And like he said earlier, it wasn't charged up all the way. He probably hit him maybe with a 30-40% Yuzuyoku. It probably could have did more damage. And piggyback to where Jiren had Sasuke's sword, mind you, Boruto hasn't really showed any emotion throughout Two Blue Vortex. Like, he always had that stone cold face, nonchalant face, a straight face all the time. And you saw him break character. He was like, yo, if you do anything to that fucking sword, I will show you something worse than death. And I was like, holy shit. And I was thinking, like, would you do
He
it?
should have called bullshit on
No,
that.
I was like, would you do it? Would you let Momoshiki out because of that? Because as of right now,
Mm.
the way it ended, Jiren just nullified the entire move. Like, nah, I'm good. Same thing as the Bijou Bomb. As of right now, Boruto's at his tail end. And, like, remember what Koji always said? If you fight Jiren, you will always lose. You will always die. So Boruto's like, okay, what are my options? Does he have a secret jutsu up his sleeve? Or he probably thought, you know what, Kashikoji never thought about me releasing Momoshiki, letting the karma take over my body. And I don't think that was in any of Kashikoji's timelines or sequences of happening. The only way he can, go toe to toe is he releases the karma mark.
That's that's interesting.
Because Kashikoji.
Only reason why I say that's interesting because sometimes the Moskushi work by like a higher tier, like Kaguya and Jigen. Not I
Ishiki.
forgot it. Ishiki. They were a higher tier than Momoshiki and all of them. They were, but so it's kind of. But then the Jura is just a ten tail. So I don't know if he's even really considered Sushiki. You know what I mean? But they had already made plans to already take them and had the ten tails eat them and stuff. So I don't know how much of a threat that would be for him. It will push him. I would say at least push him though. But I don't know how much of a threat that would be because Momoshiki didn't have like a crazy ability by himself except for the karma, if I'm remembering correctly. Because what's his name? Because Ishiki could at least shrink shit. Kaguya could go through dimensions and shit. What's his name? Just had the karma mark, if I remember correctly.
I think he just fused with the other one that fought Sasuke in the beginning of Boruto.
He did, yeah. But I don't know if that's like his
Yeah.
ability, like he confused with anybody. Like if that is, that's interesting. Like that is very interesting. Like, you know what I mean?
But before we end it, how would you rate this chapter?
I'll rate this chapter probably about an 8.5
Yep.
to a 9. You know what I mean? I think it was pretty good. It was pretty hyped. It really makes you wonder what's gonna happen in the next chapter. I think we're gonna somebody we're not thinking about is probably gonna end up having to come in and do something. Only thing is, I feel like in the situation that they're in, it looked like the only best route is somebody that can teleport. You know what I mean? Somebody that can come in, take them, and like go. And that's so hard. I can't think of another teleporter right now at
Kashikoji
the
with the
moment.
toads.
He could low
But the whole
key.
thing is like, the whole thing is, does he want to put himself in that position? Because if he gets taken, they're gonna find out who he is, and that's it. So the whole thing is like, are you gonna let Boruto die? Is the question. Are you
He
gonna
could
let him die?
reverse summon them. He could reverse summon them. If Boruto could get back to them and he has a frog, he could reverse summon them.
Yeah, but that's not gonna happen unless Konohamaru, Sadara, and everybody's safe. Because if they're still running and they're not nowhere near the location that Boruto tell them to, it's kind of pointless. Because mind you, the whole plan is to hold him up until he can take him away and probably escape. But as of right now,
I mean, it depends on how deep that plan gonna go. I mean, is he gonna be able to teleport with them, or do they need to get to that spot and hopefully there's a frog there? But that's the only thing I could do. I could think, and he'll reverse summoning them and basically, bringing them back that way because that's the only way. Because he wouldn't have to go to the battlefield that way, low key, and it keeps his identity kind of
hidden.
Yeah, because you're not gonna look at the frog and be like Koshi Kiji. You know what I mean? That's a model. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah.
But before we end it, guys, comment below. Tell us your favorite moments throughout the chapter, and Raysean can tell the viewers out there where they can find your YouTube channel at.
You guys can find me on all your podcasts and platforms. You can find my YouTube channel. Link should be below, but search up Raysean Gatson Anime Podcast. My Instagram is rgap2. And with that, hope you guys have a great day and enjoy the rest of the week.
Yes, hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 1,000. Greatly, greatly appreciate it.
Ooh,
Until
man.
next time.